Hi, good morning everybody, and welcome to our first official live, even though I've done a couple to introduce that I'm going to do this one. It's a beautiful morning here on Winchester Ranch, Sunday brunch, and I'm here with the main man. Hey, say hello, say good morning, Charlie. Charlie. Now, why is he the main man? Well, he's my introduction to Spanish Mustangs. He was the first one that I came across. So a little brief history of why Spanish Mustangs are in my life. In 2015, I found myself, I was living in Italy at the time, and I found myself without any horses. And there's been small periods of my life where horses haven't been part of it, but very few. And those periods have always been difficult for me. And so I asked myself, I was in a bit of a slump, and my partner actually asked me, what would make you happy? And I said, well, horses. And I'd had Spanish horses before, the Andalusians, the PREs. So I knew Spanish horses and adored the way that they thought. So I started looking for one, but in Italy, you know, there is no Spanish horses really. So I started doing some research, and I came across the Spanish Mustangs, and there's a small preserve in the UK called Spanish Mustangs UK, and contacted them and went to have a look at a couple of horses there. And my initial what I really wanted was a mare, okay, but when we turned up, there was this guy Charlie, and he nickered, and we left and we came back, and he came and placed his head on my chest. And it was really clear that he chose me, and he's saying, you know, you're my girl. And so that's how Charlie came into my life. I started researching about the breed and how rare they are and how incredibly important they are to the history, not only of America, but to the equine community. So these horses are the first horses that the conquistadors 500 years ago took to America to discover the New World, and under the orders of the then King of Spain. And look, he's having his brunch. And when they arrived there, they obviously got distributed, and through the history of the Americas, the Native Americans, the First Nation people, it became their horse, if you like. And over the years, they have just become diluted and, hello sweetheart, and lost. And because of the desire for the bigger horses and the overbreeding here in Spain, this breed of horse got lost to Spain. And I lived in Spain about 20 years ago, for about 20 years. And it was always my dream that one day I would return to Spain with these horses and start a preservation and return them to their homeland. And so if you think about it, that's 5-6 years of a dream. And we are finally here. We're finally here, and it's taken a lot of energy and a lot of patience and a lot of blood, sweat, and many tears. But this spring was our first foal. And his name is Caminando con Sueños, which in Spanish means walking with dreams. And it is exactly that. It's been a walk with dreams. And what I really want to say today is, or get over to you today, is that these horses are now endangered. We're talking about an estimated 2,000 left in the world. Some say 1,600. It's very difficult to put an exact figure on them, but certainly no more than 2,000. And outside of America, there is maybe 60, I think. There's a preserve in the UK, in Germany, In France there is a small herd, and also in Ireland. And in Spain we are the first preservation, bringing them back to their native land. And Charlie, he loves to be involved. He's hanging out with me. And if we don't do something now, these horses will be lost. And the versatility that they have of, you know, being able to do jumping, working equitation, endurance, they're strong-hearted. But one of the things that they are is their ability to bond with their human, their ability to just be is absolutely incredible, and it has been a complete eye-opener for me. I've been around horses all my life, since I was 3 years old. I've gone through Gypsy Vannas, Welsh mountain ponies, Hanoverians, the Spanish, the Andalusians, and all of them are incredible. All horses are incredible. But what these guys have taught me is that our domestic horses, the regular domestic horses that we have now, are a dilution of the horses that they could be. And these guys are not. These guys are authentic and pure and really, what is this word in Italian, grezzo, which means earthy, you know, like untouched and basic, rustic. They are a true spirit of the horse. They demand much. They ask for the best of you all the time. And for me, it's been an education. They have given me another level of my horsewomanship, if you like. And I will go on to talk a bit about more about the spirit and more about how their teachings in future lives, and also how that has taken me through a journey into what I call horsesmith. What I call myself a horsesmith, because it's beyond riding, it's beyond anything. It's all about communication, it's all about relationship. And if you're not connected, if you're not connected to yourself, and you're not connected to your environment, you can't be connected to these guys, to your horses. And I truly think that, oh, Charlie, don't do that, please. I truly think that the connections that you have in life are the fundamental basis of all of your relationships, not just with your horses. But what these guys have taught me, and what I'm trying to mentor into my students, is that although, yes, you know, like I say, I believe that the domestic horses at the moment are really diluted. Inside those domestic horses, if we listen, if we're prepared to give them the time, if we're prepared to connect, you can reawaken it. You can rewild their horse spirit. You can prepare them for a different conversation. And that's what these guys have been teaching me over the last 5 years. I think what I will do is give you an introduction to each of the herd members. So Charlie is, like I say, the inspiration and the ambassador, if you like, of our herd. He was the first. He's my heart. He is the reason why we're here. And he has given me so much support over some difficult times, and been there for the good times as well. And so I find it really important that, although this is Rewild Your Horse Spirit as a group, and it's about the coaching and mentoring, I think it's really important that you understand where I'm coming from, how I arrived at this point, and the credit that I have to give these guys for teaching me to be patient and to listen and to look for the simplicity. We overthink things so much. We look for the complicated, and this is simple. And it's time, and it's patience, and it's just taking some time to connect to yourself and understand that by being true and authentic, you're able to connect on a much more profound level, and the conversation is deeper. The conversation is has much more value, if you like. So that's why the Mustangs for me are hugely important, the Spanish Mustangs. The other thing I'd like to just touch on is the difference between the Spanish Mustangs and what you see on many Facebook pages and in the news, which is the BLM Mustangs in America. The BLM is the Bureau of Land Management, and the Mustangs there, which you see in the roundups and people, you know, campaigning for them, they're incredible horses, but they're not the same. There are still thousands of those, and as much as they're ill-treated, and I absolutely deplore the way that they are round up and held in pens, and I know some of my friends have those horses, and they are incredible, but they're not the same, and sometimes it's a little bit misleading. These horses, the Spanish Mustangs, there is only 2,000 left in the world, like I say, and we need to save them. We need to protect them, not only because they're an incredible horse, but because of the learnings and the teachings that they can give us. So when you hear Mustang, don't think BLM, Bureau of Land Management, when I'm speaking about my Spanish Mustangs or the Spanish Mustangs of the community. It's a whole different breed. It's a whole different animal, if you like. So yeah, and that's my Charlie, and that's my introduction. And what I will do, I think, is break this down into, like I say, speaking about the rewilding the horse spirit and what that means to me, and our program here, and how it can help and encourage people to reconnect with their horses. And then moving on to the Horsesmith program, which is about achieving goals, and but without compromise. You can have everything. I mean, you can compete, you can ride, you can be a partner to your horse and still have the human element without compromising the relationships that you have with them. I hope you found that informative. I'm going to stop now because yeah, for me this was a really big leap of faith. Earlier I posted a picture of me jumping off a bridge, which actually looked really scary, but I tell you, it was, I think compared to this, it was a piece of cake. So if you want to find out more, if you permit, I will going to put a link in the bottom of here. Oh, Charlie, don't do that. With a link to, maybe a link to our Patreon page, where you can actually support us a little bit further with On the Herd. And in there's a lot of exclusives that I don't share on social media about our lives here, much more detail, and particularly about Caminando con Sueños, which we call here Parker, his diary of his life. And like I said, there's a lot more detail, a lot more exclusives there. But for now, signing off from Charlie. Bless him, he's a little bit forelock challenged, so we have to give him a little help with the flies, and myself. I hope you have a wonderful day and go connect with your horses. They'll appreciate it. Take care.